Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
What you got for me?
Stephen A. Smith checks Malika Andrews.
The issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one.
Stephen A. Smith checking Malika Andrews demonstrates why men are opting out. Checkmate. Welcome to Management Highlights Daily. This is one of those events that everybody and their mama has talked about, and now it's time for us to give our take on it. We want to make a specific point with this video. Why men decide to opt out, and that's why a highlight from Godfather Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, in addition to the Stephen A. Smith and Malika situation is perfect to get our point across. Now before we get into this, I want to set up our argument with this chessboard. Janice.
Chess. A board game of strategic skill for two players, played on a checkered board. Each player begins the game with 16 pieces that are moved and used to capture opposing pieces according to precise rules. The object is to put the opponent's king under a direct attack from which escape is impossible. Checkmate.
We'll get back to this. Keep this in mind. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do, because we men ain't we? Shit.
Ime Udoka cannot be defended. His actions were egregious, irresponsible to be in the leadership position that he is in. I'm not here to make any excuses or any apologies for his behavior. It is inexcusable. It's a fireable offense as far as I'm concerned. But it doesn't negate what the Celtics are doing here. According to your reports, Woj, and what we have been talking about over the last couple of days, this was a consensual relationship. Was Ime Udoka involved with himself? The answer to that question is no. Two consenting adults engaged in this act or these actions that clearly were in violation of the Boston Celtics policy. But all we're hearing about is Ime.
Stephen A. Smith used a specific chess piece to put his opponent's king in check. This means that the arrangement of the pieces is such that the king could be captured if it were the opponent's move. Now let's see how his opponent, Malika Andrews, responds to this situation.
Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So that, I just want to get that out of the way first. But to answer your question, Molly, I think what stood out to me...
At this moment, Stephen A. knew Malika broke the rules, but he let her finish. Let's continue.
I think what stood out to me is that Brad Stevens, he was upset. That's what stood out to me about what he termed rampant Twitter BS is the word that he used, that women were unfairly dragged into this within the Celtics organization. You could see that Brad Stevens was visibly upset about this. And I also found that to be gross and unnecessary, that folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact. That was purely speculation. And so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more, and short of doing more ahead of this yesterday, they could have owned that responsibility in this press conference. I understand that there were legal parameters that they had to operate within for everybody involved, and I appreciate the fact that they brought in outside counsel and did a thorough organization. And I think that that is something that was clearly necessary in this situation. But the fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
You see how Malika Andrews just ignores the chess pieces Stephen A. Smith used to put her in check. In this case, the player whose king is attacked must do something to ensure that he or she is no longer in check. If she cannot do so, then she has lost the game. Checkmate. Now look what happens when you ignore the rules.
First of all, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. He deserves, the fact of the matter is, I've said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one.
This is pure gold. First off, Stephen A. Smith said, I can't appreciate where you're going with this. Of course not. She did not play by the rules, which is disrespectful. She went from playing chess to playing tag. That's a different game, and she tagged him hard with that tone of voice, and she was ready to disrespect him some more. And this is where Kevin Samuels comes in, because there's a pattern with modern women, black women in particular, that break the rules of the game and disrespect the person that put them in check. Check this out.
Why do you do that then? Like, why did you speak to her that way?
Because it was deserved at that point. Did you watch the entire 23-minute video?
Hold up, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Please don't. Was that Rochelle?
Watching her.
Yes, it
Was that
was
Rochelle?
Rochelle, but
No,
Yeah,
that's not gonna work, man.
Okay,
You don't
well,
have.
what
You
also
don't
doesn't
have.
work.
Okay, you don't have to be here, man. You don't have to.
Oh no, I'm about to leave, but really quick. So your advice to men is to tell women.
Again.
Kevin, that was not nice.
Whoa, why
Oh,
was that not nice? She was being rude.
That's how you have
was
to
that
do
not
it.
nice?
Excuse
That's
me,
how you have to
stop,
do it.
Stop. That is what the black community is used to. One-way aggression. You're used to women being able to be verbally aggressive and abusive to men, and we're just supposed to take it. I won't.
Was that woman? So the reason why
Ma'am, let me finish let me also say this. That woman is a professional. You know how to conduct yourself, but see, the thing is, black men are men not. There is a low level contempt and lack of respect for the overall black male image. So when black men finally respond, you question us as to why we responded. Well, I tell you what, if Isaac and I were dialoguing back and forth, we would have to understand that there's a line that we don't cross, because there's a low level threat of violence between men. Between a man and a woman, you guys have no consequences. You're completely protected to where you can see a woman who's 5 foot something, 100 and something, calling her 6 foot, 300 pounds, you a punk mother piece of shit. And that has an effect. Men are not doing this anymore. You want to be respected? I have hundreds of hours of me speaking to women with respect because it was given. I mirror back what I get.
Be a reflection of what you would like to see in others. If you want love, give love. If you want honesty, give honesty. If you want respect, give respect. You get what you give. Men opting out, men taking their talents overseas is the result of the constant breaking of the rules and disrespect that these men had to endure at the hands of these modern women. So if it takes two players to play chess, what do you think is going to happen if the opponents don't play fair? What I like about this Kevin Samuels and Stephen A. Smith situation is that they are interacting with professionals. Janice.
Professional. Having the qualities that you connect with trained and skilled people, such as effectiveness, skill, organization, and seriousness of manner.
These women are definitely professional agents of chaos. Black women have the tendency to mommy black men. It's part of their upbringing. Mama has the first and last word, and she doesn't care about the rules of the game. She overrules whatever rule there is, and that's why she has a problem with being checked, because that doesn't happen in her experience. That's why she becomes disrespectful, because in her opinion, it doesn't matter what position you have. Mama cannot be checked. And I say the hell with that. With Kevin Samuels, the biggest problem women had was not the message. Their biggest problem was the messenger. Mama didn't teach you to run your mouth without her permission, especially if you're gonna hold her accountable. The foolishness. Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.